Hi, my name is Thomas, and if you don't know, I am the director of marketing at OTK, and I like to talk about all things gaming, esports, and content creator in between, because I have like a unique perspective on the industry, and I like to share it with people, so people know what I'm thinking and what other people are thinking inside the industry and inside the business behind it. So give you guys a little bit of an inside scoop on OTK. I don't think we've ever showed this publicly, but fuck it, why not? So I was a part of the team that helped rebrand OTK. The biggest things were, if you guys remember, OTK as a brand, we had a very old logo, which was this. It was this fire hybrid font with this like crown in the middle, and it was very interesting because honestly, the biggest issue with the logo was the flame itself was very insignificant to OTK overall, but it took up so much space of the logo and it made the logo very clunky. It made it very difficult to work with, and the font was also very like, it was clunky, and then it was just very old school, but OTK was very new school. If you look at the t-shirts everyone was wearing, just notice the top of the logo to the bottom and the font with the word mark next to it, because by itself you don't realize what the logo is. It's just a flaming crown. It can be so many things. The logo is very clunky. It was very difficult to workshop, and it didn't really give much of a brand identity. Absolutely zero hate, no flame against paper crowns. I think they did a fantastic job with all the stuff they were given in the direction. Like, I think they set the foundation for the brand. But so yeah, like OTK, like the biggest thing was like, what do we want people to remember? What do people want to focus on? What is important for the brand, right? So the crown is the most important part to OTK's brand identity, the one true king. That was the most important. The jewel itself, also no significance at all to OTK as well. So we're like, okay, let's get rid of that. The flame itself was very hit or miss. Like, people they weren't like latched onto it, but it was kind of cool. And then obviously the name OTK, whenever you don't have like a logo that directly says your brand, it's very difficult. Because like, if you looked at this, right, and you didn't know what OTK was, you kind of really wouldn't know what it is, right? You just see like a crown flaming icon, and it was a good starting point for the organization. The biggest difference that later on we went with was, if you're going to create a logo that is very clunky, like the current OTK logo is, you want to make sure that your icon is also very like usable. This is like the overall logo. The goal of it is actually for it to be, the crown is always yellow, text is always white or black. It is okay for the logo to be completely white on specific things. And this is our primary icon. So you look at a lot of the stuff that OTK does, like you'll notice the crown is honestly sometimes a little bit more prevalent than the actual logo itself. And with the crown, it's just ways you can brand it, because it's just such an easier like lockup and build of an identity to help integrate it into the content and stuff like that, as well as just graphics in general. Like this, the OTK crown, like Games Expo, right? Because if we were to do the big OTK logo, it would just look clunky. So by simplifying it with an icon, it just gave it was an easier time to integrate it into different things without like the OTK logo taking up too much space. It's like the Nike font versus the Nike logo swoosh, you know? And then we have the primary word mark. So we actually don't use this very much. So funny enough, when I actually joined OTK, we had a big discussion. Did the brand direction wanted to go towards keeping one true king because it alienated women, or do we roll with OTK as the primary thing? And I think we settled, basically, to summarize it, kind of in between. We're gonna still keep it one true king, and more so as like, it's a goal to be the king of something, or to be the top. It's not literally about being the king, just like how Nike isn't about being the goddess Nike of victory, right? But yeah, this tertiary asset that I like to call, it's used in rare occasions. Like, you'll sometimes see it in pattern and stuff like that. We have like a whole lettering font system out, but we have to like roll it out in a subsequential way. So whenever you do a rebrand, you don't want to play all your hands within one moment, because you're going to overload your audience. Whenever you rebrand, you want to slowly roll it out, all the different stuff, and slowly build your audience to be used to the new brand versus the old one. And we actually went through a pretty decent evolution of the brand already. This style, which I call like OTK, like this is the direction that I think OTK is heading, with this like blue and this word mark stamp combination, these elements. I think it's in a good direction. I don't think it'll be the final direction. We'll probably go with a bunch of innovation over the next few months. I can't guarantee you guys will see all of it. At least internally, we'll be working on that. So just so you guys know, our website isn't meant to be like super flashy like most esports teams, because we realized The only reason you really need to go to someone's website is you want to buy merch, you want to check out and learn about the information about the company, and then to know who's a part of the company. Anyways, going back to OTK, we went with the direction of, we took what's the best, what we thought was great of OTK, and we combined it into one simple logo that had some brand identity that anyone seeing it could read it and realize what it is. No team / brand in the space own the crown, so we're gonna own the crown, we're gonna dominate the crown, and we're gonna have the crown as a focal point of our brand and what is integrated, because the king, crown, etc. And I'll talk a little bit more clear space, some general stuff. So again, you're showcasing how the logo should be used in terms of where it is and all that stuff, crown, all that stuff. And so like you've seen a lot of this stuff like spacing, like, hey, how should you space the logo, right? And here's just some details about the assets that, like, for official brandings, like you should never change the O and the K unless it's like for a creative difference. Even if it's like on a Japanese website, like you want to keep the OT and K. Same thing goes for all of this. So this is the approach that we had for where do you use the logo in specific situations. And this is really important because most people just slap the logo everywhere. The OTK logo can be used on anything OTK. It can be the crown in specific situations, but most in press releases it's only the OTK. Pitch decks and partnerships, you want to use the main brand. So the crown can be a little bit more of a flexible thing on different stuff, and then the OTK crew thing, website, merchandise, graphics, social media, and events, but not on like press releases and stuff like that, which we technically didn't follow the guidelines when we talked about. I think it was like artesian. Oh, right here. So we actually were supposed to use the full OTK logo, but we felt that the crown more minimalistically worked better for this situation. So yeah, and then ways, I guess, so just people know in general, this is to give some ideas to designers on like what not to do. And basically, like, you know, don't fuck around with the logo. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then colors and typography. So OTK gold, dude, we played around with maybe like 12 different golds, but we ended up finding a really nice one. So, and another thing that we did is we really wanted to make the brand flexible color wise. OTK has a lot of different assets in media. Like, think about it. We're not really like a sports team where we have like a set of 4 colors. It like varies and stuff like that pretty dramatically. When we rebranded, we also wanted to make it flexible for everything that OTK does. OTK operates a little bit differently than traditional esports teams, content media platforms, because we have a lot of different IPs and our colors fluctuate. We have our core blue, right, which is actually not official, but we like to use it right now for the current time. Maybe in the future, we'll shift over to a red, or maybe a purple, or maybe like a sandstone, or I really like this color scheme too. A lot. This is actually kind of leaking the fall collection, but don't say anything. We don't talk about it, all right, outside this chat. You guys are the insiders. Fall collection leaks are on the screen, but I'm not going to tell you what it is, okay? Definitely have no idea. But we wanted to build the brand so it's flexible and it can be utilized and transformed over time without a big shock to the fans. And because of our content, like ranging from loot goblins to school to clipped and stuff like that, we wanted the brand to be flexible as well as the creators to be able to have that flexibility. And so technically, other than the 3 core colors, gold, black, and white, you can go ham with any color combination and the logo works. And then we have like some creator made custom combinations. We also are cool with people like color swatching the different aspects of the logo and applying different colors. And then typography, nothing too crazy. And then secondary assets, we got some of this stuff. So you'll see this in designs and stuff like that. So like here in the background, you can see like the sword, the OTK all day, some font print stuff. You can see the part of the flame here near Sears, but yeah, and then some words, random word stuff that you also can see. And then just some surface patterns that you guys might see in the future. But yeah, that's like a little bit of background into why OTK rebranded. On top of just the rebrand, like a big part of it was making the brand, sharpening it, polishing it up, but it gave it a runway and a direction to go from. Previously, the brand was a little bit locked in terms of where it could go and what it could do, just due to the color scheme, shapes, and stuff like that. And I feel like we did a really good job fleshing it out and making it more modern. And it's not because the first run of the logo was bad. It was just more so at the time the company didn't have the creative infrastructure to then back it with the reasoning why. And the creative team is just a bunch of people that have a bunch of ideas, and over time the vision got sharpened and it became clear of what they wanted to do and what they wanted to achieve, which is nice. So I really like the OTK Apex Invitational logo. It's a very great balance between utilizing OTK and the new thing. So we what a lot of people don't know is that we actually have two different brands under the OTK banner. So we have the OTK branding, but then we have the OTK competitive branding, which is like this crown, which is a separate identity that's completely built around the competitive side. So that's why you saw it for Rift and stuff like that. But yeah, so like you can see like the different branding variations that we've done for this versus for Rift, utilizing the crown. That's the more so esports side of OTK. So yeah, that's about the big stuff for OTK and the direction we took with the brand. I think it's turned out great. If you guys ever need it for creative reasons, you can check it out at Presskit. Basically get sent to a public folder where you can get all the assets for free. So yeah, and the shows. I like it because like, see, like here's where you can see the branding the best in action, where like you have the Parasocial logo and you have the OTK logo. And then you have the back presents back to school, OTK logo too, game day. So, but yeah, so there you go. There's your video for OTK branding, some insight and stuff like that.